Hi guys, welcome back to the Casual Watch Review channel. In this week's episode, I'm joined by Miguel from SoCal Watch Reviews. What I thought would be interesting is I'm a big fan of the Omega Speedmaster. In fact, I'm wearing mine today, but I'd never really looked at the Speedmaster Reduced. On a recent visit to Bob's Watches, I managed to get my hands on one of the Speedmaster Reduced. So rather than me review it, I'm going to splice in a lot of the footage that I recorded that day. But in conversation with Miguel from SoCal Watch Reviews, he's owned several Speedmaster Reduced. So I thought it would be quite a good video if we went back and forward, a bit of history about the Speedmaster Reduced and maybe some of the pros and cons, because I'm certainly not as familiar with that watch as I am with some other Omega watches. So thanks so much for joining me today, Miguel.
Sam, thank you so much for having me on your channel. Super excited about this and super excited to talk about this topic.
You've actually owned a couple of Speedmaster Reduced. So what was it that attracted you to it?
So one of the main things that honestly attracted me to the Speed Reduced was the price, and also that automatic movement with the manual wind. It just makes it a watch that I could wear every day without having to spend a little bit of time winding. I could just pick up and go. And
yeah, because that's something I didn't realize, that they're automatics, or it's at least an automatic works over an ETA movement.
No, it's an ETA movement with a Dubris Dubois kind of piggyback on it.
I heard that they're like especially difficult to service. Is that a myth or?
No, quite honestly, that's 100% true. I went to several people and they didn't want to touch the watch or do anything with it. And unfortunately, you have to send it to Omega, and they charge between $700 to $800. And the reason why is because they don't like to service it. They just take the movement out and put a new one in.
I don't know a great deal about the Speedmaster Reduced. I understand that it's, in Omega terms, it's fairly new, like 1980s, now maybe 1988 that they were released.
That is correct. So they ran from 1988 to 2003. They had several different models or what have you, but the Omega Speedmaster Reduced did have that run, and they did change it in the late 2000s. And that model actually looks a lot more like the Professional because it has a dial. They took the Arabic numbers in the dial away, so they actually look more like the Professional.
Yeah, so it's not a current model anymore.
It is not, but you can find them on the secondhand market like I did. eBay, Chrono 24, and I actually just did a video about buying on eBay and what to look for and some of the things that I went through as well, the do's and the don'ts. So yeah, definitely they're out there.
The Schumacher, the bright yellow one. Are those ones more valuable than the standard ones, or?
Yeah, that is correct. So from my understanding, the Omega Reduced, which is the one that people refer to, is the one that actually looks like the Professional. Anything aside from that, like the reverse Panda right here, this 351150, this is really just considered an automatic. So they call it a Reduced, but most people just call it an automatic. So yes, you are correct that the Schumacher edition was actually a little bit more expensive than the 3510, which is the Reduced that looks exactly like the Professional, or very close to it. Then of course you got the Day-Date MK40, your triple calendar moon phase, you got your perpetual calendar. So yeah, there was several models that actually came from 88 to 2003 that were the 39 case millimeter with the automatic movement. Now, they didn't all have the ETA with the piggyback like this one does not. And if you can see, actually the pushers line up with the crown right here because this is a value movement. So the one that we're talking about, the 3510 in particular, the Reduced, does have that ETA movement with the added Dubris Dubois. That's why the pushers, if you look at a picture of them, they don't line up. They're actually misaligned just because of the movement, the way that it's placed. So it's very interesting. And that's one of the things that people complain about also, that it doesn't line up perfectly, and it didn't bother me, to be honest.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that about the crown. And this is how poor my knowledge was of the Speedmaster Reduced, because I thought Reduced was like a nickname that people gave it.
Well, it was a nickname, but if you go to the Omega website and you pull up the spec sheets, they actually name it the Reduced. So
if you were looking to buy one now, or if people watching this are looking to buy a Speedmaster Reduced, what would you look for, like, specifically? I mean, is eBay a good place to start, or?
It is. I found that a lot of these Reduces are coming actually from Japan. Japanese people really take care of their stuff, and a lot of reduces coming out of Japan are actually coming from secondhand stores that sell a lot of luxury goods. So they do have their watchmakers that do polish up the case, and they work on the movement. Really recommend people to do is just ask, is the movement, has it been serviced? And it's in time, because I had that really bad experience where it was gaining time and I was not about to spend $700 to $800 with Omega.
So the Speedmaster itself is well known as being exceptionally hard for counterfeiters to make replicas of. Is that the same with the Speedmaster Reduced?
I personally believe that the Omega Speedmaster has been copied so much because it is a popular watch. So with that said, obviously the Reduced is not that popular, and I have seen some replicas, but it's pretty obvious. Like on the dial, you can kind of see some variables and what have you. But another recommendation is always to ask for a movement shot. Be quite frank with you, I have seen some replicas, but not very good ones.
If there was one watch that you would look for in the line of Speedmaster Reduced that you think is the one that takes the least to maintain, or the one that might go up in value the most, what do you think is that one, that kind of like next big hit, that if you were looking to buy a Speedmaster Reduced and keeping it for a while, that you think would probably go up in value?
Well, to be honest with you, I have it right here. This is the 3511 Reverse Panda. And the reason I got it is because of the Panda, of course. And I know Speedmaster had a release, right, with the Speedy Tuesday, but the subdials were actually in the bottom. And this is a value movement. I mean, it's super easy to maintain. Any watchmaker could really just jump into these. The cool thing about this particular one, it actually has a sapphire crystal on it. So I just thought for the same price as the Reduce, I got this one, and it came a box and papers. Got it from Japan. And it does have in the loom, because it's early 90s, they used tritium, so it created a patina. And I know that's huge right now, right? A lot of big companies doing the faux patina. This is a real deal. So, this is what I would recommend, but that's just my personal.
So guys, you've heard us discussing the Omega Speedmaster Reduced. This is a solid Omega watch if you're looking at getting one, an entry-level piece, or maybe you're looking at adding one from the collection. We've gone over a lot of the details around it, but if you are thinking of buying one, we thought we would just go through some of the pros and cons of owning this watch. And so my first con was the overall dimensions of the case is 39 millimeters with a 13 millimeter thickness. So it is slightly thicker than the Professional because it has that automatic works. But if you are used to wearing a Professional, you will notice a size decrease.
Oh, absolutely. So one of the pros for me is actually the size, because I have a 6 at 3.25 inch wrist, and it actually fits me pretty well. And the reason I like it being a little bit smaller is because I do wear a lot of long sleeves for work, and it doesn't look like an oversized sport watch. So it kind of fits in with my attire.
So with that reduced case though, you are getting a reduce in the band size. So it's like an 18 millimeter on these as well, instead of 20, which is traditional on the Professional ones.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But a pro for that is that the band does look a little thinner, and it actually, so it's 18, and then the buckle ends set at 16. So again, for somebody that has smaller wrists like myself, it just looks better. It doesn't look so chunky.
Yeah, I think one of the other cons is that movement being hard to service.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you as far as the service, but however, being automatic, you could just kind of pick up and go, and it makes it so much easier for everyday use.
Okay, and then the last one that I had, and this is a bit of a cheeky one, but it is fair to say that if you're looking for that history of the moon watch, if you're looking for the watch that went to the moon, even though the Reduced does have a lot of resemblances to the Professional, it's still not quite got that history. It's never been documented to have been in space or authorized by NASA.
I agree with you. It's not the moon watch, but it is an Omega, and Omega's been around since the 1800s. So it has that going for it.
Okay guys, well hey, that was our pros and cons if you are thinking of buying this watch, but let us know what you think in the comments section down below. As always, we appreciate any comments that you leave us. If you're wanting to get to Miguel's channel, if you hit the little eye icon, that will take you to his latest video. I'll also leave a link in the description down below. If you want to contact me directly, you can contact me on any of these social media links or directly at thecasualwatchreview@gmail.com. I appreciate you watching. I'll see you next time on the Casual Watch Review channel. Thanks guys, bye.